Hey guys, and welcome to part 1 for What If Jiraiya Raised Female Naruto. And yep, let's get into this. So, Jiraiya be somewhat walking down somewhat walking towards Konoha as he was somewhat excited. Yesterday, sometime yesterday, Kushina should have given birth to Naruto, and that would mean that he was now a godfather, and he was somewhat excited. So he was slightly somewhat annoyed that he couldn't be there. He somewhat did couldn't be there sort of yesterday as he had somewhat a mission and that it finished, but by the time it finished it was somewhat very late, and yeah, though he was wondering somewhat what is the godfather to a boy or girl. Surely damn it, the sort of medicine that had kind of examined Kushina had stated that she was, or at least was going to give birth to a boy, but well, Drew always held that with a grain of salt. Sure, they were damn accurate when it came to the date of birth, but they were less accurate when it came to the gender, mainly due to the fact that many things could happen, especially with Kushina being the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. There was a chance that something could happen, and Naruto could be plopped out as a girl, or somewhat one with both somewhat genitals. And yeah. Though as you'd get closer and closer, you'd somewhat, and of course you'd get more and more excited when somewhat Ambu all of a sudden would appear in front of me, to stop, and he'd quack an eyebrow as go, Lord Jiraiya, someone thank me you're here. Tried to quack an eyebrow and go, what's wrong? Kage-sama wishes to speak to you. I'm somewhat on my way, so it'll be another sort of minute or two. Sorry, driver, he wants to see you now. And I mean now. I somewhat hearing the, or at least somewhat, driver would be confused, though he'd nod. The Umber would disappear, and he'd kind of wonder why would mean to want to see him, but then he just, well, though it's also somewhat odd, he did send a toad, but toad with a cell matrix on it. And yeah, so it was sort of late, and it was sort of stored in his stomach or that. Or rather, it went after it entered his mouth, who knows. And yeah, though, anyway, though he would somewhat, he'd somewhat, he'd do the sunshine as he'd appear a few seconds later, somewhat in the Hokage's office, as go, somewhat, would somewhat would kind of silence as he'd be confused. Why was someone saying that? And the second he'd sort of arrived, out the corner of his eyes, he saw Abu drop, and obviously he'd heard the door open. A few seconds later, he'd hear the door shut, and he'd go, "Why are you here, Sensei? Where's Minato? Or are you just taking over somewhat for a while, so I mean to have some time with Kushina and Naruto?" He was in mid-take a somewhat long inhale, sort of his pipe as he'd sort of breathe out as he'd look at Jiraiya. I'm sorry to say this, Jiraiya, but Minato is dead. What? How? How is he? How? What about Kush? Naruto? Where is Kush? She's dead as well, Jiraiya. What about Naruto? As he'd put his hands on Hiusin and would sort of shake him. What about Naruto? How is he? How how is Naruto? Silent tears and would sort of say, Naruto's fine, Jiraiya. Naruto is fine. While as fine as a child, a newborn child with the nine tails silver inside of it, I guess. I would stop shaking him and would just stare at him. Go, you're joking, right? I I wish I was Jiraiya, but I'm I'm not. Yeah, but how did the cell break? A a masked man have gone to Kushner, so was apparently a claimed to be murderer, and he had he'd killed the sort of army that were meant to protect them, died outside, and well, even killed someone's my wife. So I though he'd put his hand up to stop Dryer from speaking as he'd continue. From there, he'd taken sort of baby Naruto and had put an explosive tag on a blanket. Yes, Naruto is a female and a healthy one at that. Though that's to sort of be expected. Someone who's Macindol. Dryer would somewhat nod, though he was going to try to continue anyway, though. Meantime, of course, managed to save her, his daughter, and yeah, though by the time Saito had arrived back, the somewhat masked man had ripped the nine tails out of Kushina, and he'd put it under some type of genjutsu, and well, he'd order it, he'd managed to summon it within Konoha, and so Jonin, and Armbu were doing their best to push it back once Minto was fighting Masked Man, though eventually Minto had managed to place a contract on the Masked Man, and Richard broken the Richard broke the the Masked Man's control over the nine-tailed fox, and from there the Masked Man had retreated. Minto had somewhat come back just in time as the fox had charged up a Biju bomb. Yeah, Minto had managed to teleport somewhat distance away, thankfully saving Konoha from complete obliteration. Yeah. From there, though, he then proceeded to summon Gambunta and teleport both the fox and Gambunta away. And by the time I'd arrived, that was Krishna's chain barrier up, so there was no way I'd be getting in. And yeah, and I saw was the fox that impaled both Kushina and Minto. Somewhat, though it did look like the fox was going to kill Naruto when they'd jumped in front, though Minto had and realised Minto had summoned the Shinigami. He'd sacrificed his life to seal away the fox within Naruto, making her the first joke of the nine-tailed fox. And yeah, I would fall silent as somebody to take that all in as it go. I'm somewhat softly lost sensei, but I don't think I could somewhat raise Naruto. Not somewhat at the moment, at least. Maybe I'm sorry, Dry, but you are her godfather. but no buts, Jiraiya. I'm not asking, nor nor am I telling you. I'm directly ordering you to raise her. You are her godfather. And Kushina chose you as her godfather, not me, not Kakashi, Tsunade, or someone, one or somebody else. They chose you, Dry, in case of their death, for you to raise her. Dry would sigh, though he'd go, but what about my... If you have to go, then I can assign someone to watch her, but if you even try and someone to extend your time outside the village, I will have Ambu hunt you down, Dryer, and drag you back here. Got it? Then you'll never leave the village. Not until she becomes a Genin, that's even if she decides to. Though Dryer's smart and her life is all but going to be a sort of Konrichi. Sensei, there is almost no way around it. She'll have a death wish otherwise. It just somewhat not somebody, but still, should at least give her a choice, no matter what. Dry just shrugged, though. Yeah. So when will I be able to leave? Once you can eat, of course, have food. After all, you're no woman. And yeah, tried somewhat blink. When need somewhat relax and right, of course, newborns, they have to consume milk, don't they? Which Susan would sort of just nod, though Hank, I don't. Jaya, nobody knows how to look after a child, let alone raise it. Yeah, nobody's ever prepared for a child, no matter how prepared you think you are, you never are. And yeah, it is just one gigantic learning experience. So I'd let out a sigh, I nod. And so from there, 3 months would pass, and in those 3 months, I had somewhat changed. It felt somewhat more happier than he ever did. Sure, he was, happy when he was, when he'd taken Minto as his apprentice, and Minto had, accept that, and yeah, and he was excited, when, of course, Kushina had, revealed to him that he was going to be Nato's godfather. He was excited and that, but yeah, he didn't know. He felt happy, pleased, content. So just raising Nato. Sure, it was mainly, changing nappies and that, but still. He didn't know why, but he felt just better. Yeah, though at the moment he sort of sigh as he'd sort of have to leave to go talk to one of his somewhat spies. So he'd go to Houston, and well, he already had a person chosen out, of course, about a week or two after the Nine Tails attack. Kakashi had, come to him to somewhat speak. And that has, of course, losing, of course, Minto, and that, and yeah, pretty much Kakashi had pretty much nobody left, really. And yeah, so he'd somewhat go to his and he'd go, I've got a spy that needs to tell me some information, or he has some information, important, somewhat information. He would just, I don't know, go, I'll sign a Anbu, well, I have a person. Oh, really? And who may that be? Well, he hasn't exactly agreed to it, but yeah, well, who is it then, Raya? Kakashi. So So, do you think it's? Oh, I'm sure. And somewhat trust me, Sensei. It would do, it would do that boy a whole lot of good to somewhat to look after Naruto, even if it's only for about a month, or at least that's as long as I should be somewhat gone from Konoha for. Hizen would nod, and true, a month later, Jiraiya did return, and in that month, Kakashi had somewhat changed as well, and he'd felt kind of lost in that, though now he somewhat kind of had a goal to get not just stronger, but to get stronger to protect someone to protect Naruto. He didn't know why, but just seemed somewhat so hard isn't and that, and yeah, it just something inside of him changed, and yeah, he now had a goal, and yeah. So once Naruto was a year old, her and Jiraiya would leave Konoha, as it was best for somewhat Konoha and Naruto, as well they would be able to, of course, just wander somewhat around, and if anyone, or while the masked man would come back, the Jinchuriki wasn't in Konoha, and they'd have to try and find them. And yeah. Anyway, though, and of course, somewhat, though, when Jiraiya had to go and somewhat see one of his spies, he would somewhat send a message back to Konoha, to Hiruzen, who would assign Kakashi a double S rank mission, pretty much super secret mission. Simply, and the reason why it was that level was because Naruto, firstly, is the last known Uzumaki alive. Sure, she's only half, but she's still, an Uzumaki, as she has so much as the normal Uzumaki red hair, though it is slightly a shade or two or three different from Kushina's. Though she does have her mother's skin colour and her father's eye colour. And yeah, and well, her mother's somewhat verbal tick. Yeah, anyway, though, yeah, so that's somewhat why that, and you also, of course, Cone has Jinchuriki, so yeah. And yeah, so Kakashi would somewhat come, and of course he'd look after Naruto, and they would also sort of move as Jiraiya would tell them where they should be within a month's time, and that's where he would be expecting them. Kakashi would nod, and yeah. Yeah. Though, of course, somewhat time would go by, and also around this time as well, Jiraiya somewhat would somewhat play hide and seek with her. And yeah, granted within a somewhat smaller area. The reason why was because while somewhat hide and seek was a game most somewhat kids would play, obviously, but one that also helped in, of course, stealth. And while Shinobi somewhat use stealth quite a lot, and it is pretty much a requirement. So yeah, he was already training her in the art of being a shinobi, of being a konoichi, and yeah, slightly, kind of quietly, and yeah. So it'd been, yeah. Though it already had been about 4 months since they'd left, when she'd see Kakashi again. And her first stop, or at least Jiraiya's first stop, was Uzugakure, as he'd thought that, for our first time outside the village, or at least his first time with his goddaughter, he would take her to the Uzumaki homeland. While she may not remember it, he'd bring her back here when she was 12 years old, when somewhat a week before, or at least 2 weeks before a week before they had to go back to Konoha. So she'd spend a week in the Kensho. So when they would return, she'd spend a week in the academy to potentially gain some type of friendship, potentially with kids around her age, and yeah, so that she could become a Konrichi, of course. And yeah, anyway though, and, yeah, designed time had passed, and when she turned 3, Jiraiya, or at least about a couple of days to a week later, after her third birthday, Jiraiya would start teaching her about chakra. Well, he already did when she was about 2.5 years old. He'd start telling her about chakra and its usages and that, and what kind of shinobi were. And yeah, and yeah, so when she was 3, he started, or at least he somewhat started teaching the chakra control, and yeah, and so somewhat from there, more time would pass. She'd somewhat cause someone get annoyed with the amount of chakra control. And at one point, when Kakashi was somewhat looking after her, she'd somewhat complain to Kakashi about, having to do the leaf, or at least, somewhat sticking the leaf to her forehead, as it was about a week into it. And yeah, so Kakashi would tell her that while she's got that, he would tell her that, she wouldn't be able to do any jutsus if she doesn't learn to properly control her chakra, and that it may be annoying, but yeah, and that, so she'd sort of complain and tried, or at least not try. I should simply say that kids somewhat your age should, if they were to learning it at your age, they'd already have it down by now, Naruto. And it's telling me you have a ton of chakra. And that's the thing. Most kids will learn this when they're about 5 to 6 years old. So in 2 to 3, in about in about 2 to 3 years' time, they'd learn the leaf sticking exercise. And some would learn it within a day, and some within a week. And it's only been a week and you still haven't stuck it to your forehead. And it's telling me you have a ton of chakra, which will make it near impossible for you to learn any jutsu if you don't learn chakra control. She'd grumble, but she'd get back to it, and yeah. And finally, when she was like 6 years old, by then, of course, she'd learned leaf sticking, tree walking, water walking, tank. Somewhat, it was about a day or two before Jiraiya returned when she'd gotten the leaf sticking finally, and Kakashi had moved her on to the tree walking, just like tried something to explain to him to learn, which was just to walk up the side of a tree and tell her to do it, and that to let her try and figure it out first for the first 2 to 3 hours, and then tell her. So to work on her, problem solving, and that to develop, ability to think, to obviously try and solve issues or problems and that, and yeah, and yeah, anyway, though, yeah, so she could obviously do that, walk on water, and some other chocolate exercises, and yeah, though at the moment, though dried for that, so it's finally time that she, at least while he's comfortable enough with her level of stealth, that being around the Joni level for her sort of size and all. At least, well, yeah. And, well, yeah. So, they would sort of kind of go and, well, so after a while, they would, after getting the information and a successful spy mission, did someone return and tried something like that. It was about time he taught her jutsu. And moment had to think of what one to teach her, and you just mentally shrug and decide. You just ask her. You'd go, you'd look at her and you'd go, well, Naruto. So as, for some, job well done, couldn't someone teach her jutsu? Really? What one? That's for you to decide. There are somewhat three jutsus that the Academy will teach. The transformation, replacement, and clone jutsu. The clone jutsu is somewhat an illusionary one, and one that is pretty much useless, and one I have a high suspicion you won't be able to do, so I'll be switching that one out with the, I should cut them off, saying the Shadow Clone Jutsu, or isn't that somewhat, or yeah, something that one, the one that, I could, or at least, I could attach to its drive, not indeed that one. Yeah, so which ones what jutsu would you like to learn first? The Shadow Clone Jutsu, Transformation Jutsu, or Replacement Jutsu? So somewhat think as tried to explain to her roughly each one of those sort of jutsus. Transformation allows obviously a person to transform into a person, animal, or object. Replacement allows you to replace yourself with a log to get out of harm's way, and Shadow Clone Jutsu allows you to pretty much copy yourself, and it was like physical. And the Shadow Clone could think for itself and was very much could obviously use jutsus and carry and that stuff, and yeah. Though she's thinking as much as she'd like to learn the Shadow Clone Jutsu, she'd know for right now it was somewhat kind of useless. She didn't necessarily need it right now, and replacement was good and all, but she wasn't going to be getting into any fights any time soon. And yeah, so the transformation plus. Oh yeah, she could transform into different, somewhat animal attacks. She could, and she'd sort of look to try and she'd go the transformation. Oh, when the transformation then Naruto? Well, so you kind of know I could but I'm kind of get it down or kind of master it. I could transform into a some bird and fly and say fly over maybe the battlefield or that, and find some of the enemy or enemies and sort be able to somewhat then come back and tell you say where they were, or I could say transform into a spider and be able to listen in on information. I could go into tiny places, so I could transform into a snake and poison someone, or okay, that's enough. That's somewhat enough. Yeah, I was only curious to know, somewhat why, and yeah, she just go, oh, and she'd slightly somewhat blush. Yeah, low dry glare, like chuckle as it'd go, well, now then, as he'd proceed to show the hand signs, or at least though he'd tell her first though that she'd spent a year learning this and that once, and that yeah, she'd nod and he'd show the hand signs, and yeah, he'd tell her to go through those so couple of times until she felt comfortable with them, to which she'd nod, and as she'd do them, I'd tell her that once she feels comfortable and that with them, to tell him, and that her first transformation would be to transform into him. She'd look up and ask why, to which I would try to explain that so it would be that it would be, well, it's the sort of easiest to do. I just want to know me, you know how I sound and that. So, and yeah, after all, the transformation is, you know, you can transform, of course, into people, and the few that do use it tend to try and transform into their enemy. And yeah, to go to just somewhat nod at that. And yeah, and so though sort of once you're able to transform into me, we'll sort of leave. Well, we'll then leave for a village, one with a somewhat library, so you can sort of learn to transform into a bird. You want me to learn how to transform into a bird next? Yes. As you have pointed out, the potential benefits of being able to fly. And yeah, I can somewhat, well, know for certain that hardly anyone can fly, let alone be able to transform into a bird and fly. And plus, if you can, then you'd be the only person in the entire world that knows how a bird flies. For real. There have been some books that published and theories stated on how a bird would, how a bird flies, but nobody knows for sure. And as such, only you would truly know. Of course, people have tried transforming into birds before, but they failed. Not transforming into a bird, but being able to fly. And yeah, you should nod at that. And about a month or so later, should be able to transform into Jiraiya, and thus they would leave, well, from their campsite, which of course had moved within that month time, as they'd spend about maybe a week at most to generally about 3 to 4 days in one spot, up to a max of a week. And so they would sort of arrive at a village that I'd someone book them a hotel for a week. And now they'd go off to the library, start finding it and going in and looking, and eventually she'd find the sort of book she'd looking for. It's just something about birds and that, and from there she'd read everything she could, sort of about birds and potentially how they may potentially fly or that. After all, even if the information was somewhat wrong, potentially, it still potentially helped slightly, and that, of course, it also showed the different types of birds within kind of Konoha, within the Land of Fire. And eventually, after of course the week, or after about a day or two of reading straight, she'd then try and transform, though she wouldn't be able to do it within a week. So and it would take her about 2 months to be able to finally transform into a bird, as trying someone to always tell her that trying to transform into a person taller than you is easier than trying to transform into something smaller. And of course, the next step after transforming into something smaller is to transform into an inanimate object. Inanimate? It'd go, in other words, kunai, shuriken, sword, something along those lines. Something that isn't alive. And yes, it'd go, oh, like a tree or that. tried to go, well, not quite. A tree is somewhat technically alive as it what allows us to breathe. Don't ask me how, but apparently it does. We get the some of the air from the trees or something like that. Not, I am not too, sure. Yeah, those should something odd. I assume if that was true, then that would mean any type of plant or grass, which, yeah. So then again, they had roots, which and that, which soaked up water and that. So yeah, okay, they were somewhat in a way alive. Yeah. So from there, they said eventually someone finally got it. They were some of the mates of going to another place when she'd be able to transform into a bird finally successfully and somewhat properly into. And yeah, tried to smile, to her. Or at least, well, yeah, those should somewhat de-transform should perceive to so dry and yeah, smile and you'd somewhat tell her, well done. And you'd tell her the next step was probably the hardest thing to fly. And yeah, she'd nod. She'd, of course, and yeah, and from there she'd somewhat ponder about potentially, she'd write, of course, many books with them all stating different theories, with one book stating nearly every theory that there was about birds flying, though she had seen sort of no travels with Jiraiya, many of birds seemingly falling out of the tree and trees and that, and yeah, and with them just narrowly missing the ground. And she realised that, of course, a bird wouldn't know how to fly as well. So the adults do, because they've been doing it for a long time now, but the babies wouldn't. They were just hatched. So, or at least once they were ready to. So, of course, they fell and they figured it out as it was a life or death situation, should realise. And so, looking around there where they'd sort of settled down, she was looking for the tallest tree and finding it, or at least the tallest branch of the tree. And she'd go up it. And yeah, going to the top branch. And standing on it, she'd proceed to transform, doing the hand signs, and would transform into the sort of bird. And yeah, she'd sort of fold out wings, and yeah, she'd sort of look either side of her to see them out extended straight, and she'd let away. She'd taken a couple of deep breaths to calm herself, and she'd then proceed to sort of just push herself off and would sort of fall forward, and yeah, and she'd feel the sort of wind and that, and yeah, she'd immediately try and start figuring out. Of course, she'd hit the floor, and well, yeah, could she die? She was a bird, and well, the birds that sadly hit the ground did die. So would she die, or would it just be immediately reversed back and just painful? She wasn't sure, and she didn't want to figure out. So she'd try, and as she could see the ground coming closer and closer and closer, eventually she'd suddenly fell, and the next thing she'd start, well, yeah, she could sort of feel away ton of pressure similarly sort of on her wings, sort of a sort of sudden, and she'd start seeing the sort of ground starting to get further, further sky, and yeah, then she'd kind of slightly, again, as she'd start going up, slowing down, she'd stop and she'd somewhat start tipping over, and then nosediving, almost going back into a nosedive again. She'd sort of realise and she'd remember what she'd done, and she'd do it again, but to a degree, and she could feel the pressure once more on sort of wings, but not as much as it was before. And yeah, she'd somewhat would pull out sort of the dive, and she'd slightly go up, though, and she'd somewhat realise that she wasn't as sharp as before, and she'd slightly increase the angle of some feathers, and she'd increase her angle. Though she'd decrease it, and she'd slowly, she'd go back to now for the first time level flight, and she'd sort of mentally cheer she could fly. And yeah, though she'd sort of realised that she was starting to slow down. Obviously, she sort of was. And yeah. And she'd sort of remember, of course, birds obviously flap their wings to go forward. And yeah, so that's what she'd do. And after a bit, she'd figure out not just going up and down wasn't doing nothing. That was in fact just slowing her down even more. And she'd sort of realise that, or at least, she'd sort of realise that simply throwing her wings forward, like she was somewhat swimming, going forward, and then bringing them back. Simply showing yourself forward. In the similarly somewhat water, if you've done that in the air, of course, of wings, or at least some much of our sort of hands, though now wings, of course, a bird. She'd go forward, she'd feel herself going forward, or at least would accelerate, and doing it more. Eventually, she'd stop, and and then from there, she'd sort of mess around with some more sort of feathers, and eventually she'd sort of figure out how to, at least turn left and right. Though she sort of, and even sort of roll, and when she'd sort of rolled, she'd obviously started going sort of down, so using sort of that sideways, allowed to keep sort of that kind of roll angle, and using the one, or at least somewhat the feathers that would sort of pitch her, or at least I allowed her to go up and down. She did those, it allowed her to turn, then go somewhat a lot sharper, and and Jiraiya would someone to come out to just, and did somewhat, you'd kind of wonder momentarily where something Naruto was not really placing these somewhat birds, simply, somewhat dancing through the air, or not necessarily dancing, but flying through the air was Naruto, and she'd figured, she'd be, on the sort of ground trying to figure out how to, fly, take off, and that, not really realizing she already had and was in the air. Then she'd realize the next thing, and probably kind of harder thing she'd realize, was the landing part, and probably taking off as well. So, after all, birds can take off. Birds don't just fall out of a tree or on the side of a building and take off. So most of the time they someone did, as it was a easier sort of way of doing things, or at least they'd jump off. Though most of the time they'd be on a flat ground and they would take off from there. And so after all these sort of bits kind of slowing down, enough, she'd end up landing those sort of flesh planting, and though she'd dispel the transformation, letting her grown, and dry here in the ground, he'd sort of turn around, or at least turn his head to the side, and would blink, go, Naruto, when did you get there? Like, how long have you been there? Oh, I just sort of got here. Kind of quirking eyebrow like that, and she'd sort of look at him, and you'd notice, where did that bird go? She'd sort of blink, and she'd just kind of switch off, and she'd go, Sensei, that was me. You'd sort of look look back at it. Wait, you're telling me, yeah, I figured out how to. And yeah, and from there, well, she'd sort of yeah, she'd tell him, and yeah, you'd sort of just sort of pat her, and he'd go, well, I guess when we arrive at the next town, it'd be whatever somewhat animal you decide to transform into next. Yeah, they should somewhat nod. They should somewhat ask if potentially that you could go to maybe like a different um place. Should quite no that one no, right. You'd quack an eyebrow. What do you mean by that? Kind of like what's the play or somewhat like what kind of Konoha is, but not kind of the land fires. Ah, you mean another sort of nation though? Why that? Well, to transform into, or at least to learn how to transform into something that bad. Ah, I see, but shouldn't you first, be able to transform into all of Konoha's, well, the land fires different types of birds before you go and try that? Someone do that, and yeah, should I guess? Someone guess so, and yeah, and so from there, that's what they would do. That's what she'd do pretty much for the year was, wow, episodes of learning some other different birds and that. More specifically, the somewhat high flying birds. She'd somewhat as well learn to transform into some different animals, as well as also, yeah, and yeah, and with that, I'm going to end this part here, guys. And yeah, if you have enjoyed this part, do tell me in the comments down below. And of course, if you want part 2, do say, guys. And girls, and yeah, hope you guys have a good day or night, depending on wherever you are and whenever you watch this. And good bye.